Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. This is Miss Aisha Anwar from Biotic Academy. Hope you people are enjoying the lectures which we are discussing here in our academy and your concepts are getting much clearer. Today my topic is gaseous exchange and importance of gaseous exchange for the body of living organism. Especially today we will discuss about the process of respiration in humans. So what is gaseous exchange and why it is important? Gaseous exchange is basically the process where we use to transfer gas, oxygen gas from the surrounding inside our body to each and every individual cells. Why we do need these oxygen molecules in our cells? These oxygen molecules are basically needed in order to break down the glucose molecule in the cell, where the mitochondria is an organelle in the cell which is responsible to break down glucose molecule in the presence of oxygen. So mitochondria is basically an organelle in the cell, in animal and plant cell, which are responsible to break down glucose molecule in the presence of oxygen to get energy in the form of ATP. That ATP is basically the currency of the cell. So that is the reason we need to exchange gases with the surrounding. Humans need to exchange gases with the surrounding, especially oxygen gas is taken in and carbon dioxide is removing out of the body. Now we know that carbon dioxide is being produced as a result of the cellular respiration. When the mitochondria is breaking down glucose molecule, it produces carbon dioxide as a byproduct. Here you can see the equation of respiration, where basically the cell is producing water, carbon dioxide and ATP. As a result of this equation, we produce carbon dioxide, which is needed to be removed out of the body because this gas is basically toxic for the cell. So basically this is the reaction which takes place in the cell, in the mitochondria of the cell, where glucose molecule is broken down in the presence of oxygen. So that is the reason that we need oxygen gas from the surrounding, and we produce carbon dioxide as a result of this cellular respiration along with water and ATP. ATP used in the body metabolism, and excess water is being removed from the body through urine, through sweat, and carbon dioxide is being removed from the body through the process of exhalation. So that is the importance of gaseous exchange for humans especially. Now if we look in detail about the system which is basically involved in this process of gaseous exchange, here you can see this is the system, respiratory system of humans, where you can see different parts, different organs which are involved to make up this respiratory system. Starting from the nostrils, we will see this epiglottis is the opening of the trachea. Epiglottis is basically the trachea. After that you will find this larynx, where the voice box is present to control or to produce the voice. Then after that you will see a cartilaginous ring of cartilaginous tube that is called trachea, through which the oxygen gas is going inside towards the lungs, and carbon dioxide is removing out of the lungs into the environment. So from nostrils, epiglottis, then larynx, then trachea. Now after that you will find that trachea is divided over here into two branches, that is called bronchus, and these bronchus are basically leading inside the next part of the respiratory system, that is the lungs. In the lung, these bronchus are going to divide themselves into many small tubes, you can say, that are called bronchioles. Bronchiole are ending at air sac that is called alveoli. Here is the place, alveoli is the place where basically gaseous exchange take place. Now the external structure, if you look at the external structure of the lungs, where we can see that it is being protected by a membrane, a protective layer that is basically preventing the lungs from any external jug, and that membrane is called pleural membrane, which is protecting the lung from the external jugs. and in between the pleural membrane and the tissues of the lungs there is a fluid which is present over there, that is called pleural fluid. It prevents friction because lungs is continuously contracting and relaxing, as a result of which it may produce friction. So in order to avoid that friction, we have this pleural fluid in between the pleural membrane and the tissues of the lung. This fluid is present. Now here, cut end of the ribs, you can see over here that there are basically rib cage. The lungs is enclosed within the rib cage in order to protect it from the external jerk. And here muscles are present, external intercostal muscles and internal intercostal muscles, which helps to contract and relax and control the size of the thoracic cavity according to the need during the process of gaseous exchange. Now below here you can find a diaphragm, that is also a muscle that is basically controlling the contraction and relaxation of lungs by providing the volume to this lungs to expand or contract. Accordingly it plays a role. Now this is basically the parts which is basically making up the respiratory system of humans. After that respiratory system, I told you that this is the point. This alveoli is basically the structure where basically gaseous exchange take place. So this structure needs to be understood. The working of alveoli can be understood over here. Alveoli is basically a pouch like structure of air sac which is having extremely thin wall, because when oxygen gas diffuses inside the lungs, oxygen reaches to the alveoli. The wall of the alveoli are single cell thin, so that is the reason the oxygen gas can enter into the blood capillaries which are surrounding the alveoli. You can see over here that alveoli are surrounded by the blood capillaries. So this thin wall of the alveoli help the oxygen to diffuse inside the blood, and the carbon dioxide which are there in the blood can come out from the blood into the lumen of the lungs, so that this thin wall help the gaseous exchange. Now these alveoli are basically giving a large surface area to volume ratio, allowing for gases to flow across the membrane easily. These are basically having compartment within them. These compartment basically increases the surface area for maximum gaseous exchange, because humans are metabolically active organism and we need a constant fast supply of ATP in our body, in each and every cell of the body. So in order to produce ATP at a faster rate, we need to exchange gases at a faster rate. So all this mechanism to carry on efficiently, alveoli are basically having a large surface area, so that more and more oxygen can diffuse inside the blood and more carbon dioxide can diffuse out of the blood quickly. Now they are lined with fluid enabling gases to dissolve. Obviously the gases which are coming in the towards the lungs through the blood capillary, they are dissolved in the blood. So in order to diffuse out of the body, they again need to come out of the blood capillaries and again dissolve into a fluid, so that they can go out from the blood capillaries into the lungs. So basically these alveoli are having a thin layer of fluid which enabling the gases to dissolve into it, so that they can again dissociate into their molecular state or gaseous state again, so that they can remove out of the body. They are surrounded by numerous capillaries. I told you that these alveoli are surrounded with numerous capillaries which are bringing carbon dioxide for removal out of the body, and these capillaries are responsible to absorb maximum oxygen from the lungs, so that they can absorb more and more lungs and can take it towards the cell. Now as I told you that alveoli is basically the place where the gaseous exchange take place. For this process to occur in the lungs, that carbon dioxide is moving out of the body and oxygen is diffusing inside the body, your lungs, your chest cavity needs to do some changes in its volume, so that the process can occur automatically, because the process of breathing in and out is basically an automatic process and it depends on concentration gradient. because we know that in the environment we have 21% oxygen, which is much more greater than the amount of oxygen in our body. So oxygen diffuse inside the body automatically, and in the environment we have 0.04% carbon dioxide, which is much lesser than the carbon dioxide we produce as a result of cellular respiration. So carbon dioxide diffuse out of the body from high concentration to low concentration. Okay, so I was telling you that how this concentration gradient helps the gaseous exchange to occur. Now, due to the gradient difference, gases are exchanged automatically. But for this gases exchange to occur, the thoracic cavity needs to do some changes, some physical changes in them, so that they can tolerate with the pressure, difference in pressure. So when we breathe in, that is the condition where our chest cavity needs to expand so that it can increase the volume inside the lungs, so that the air can rush in from high concentration to lower concentration. So in order to increase the volume of the lungs, the basically ribs are basically going to contract. External intercostal muscles of the ribs are going to contract themselves, as a result of which they will pull the ribs upward, as a result of which it will expand, and the lungs which are present within this rib cage will get the space to expand as well. When the lungs get expand, the pressure of the air which are already present inside the lungs, that pressure will drop, and that drop in pressure will allow the oxygen to move from high concentration of the environment to lower concentration inside the lungs. So here basically the muscles which are involved with the rib, that is the external intercostal muscle and the internal intercostal muscle, they play a very important role to expand this rib cage so that the lungs can expand. Similarly, the diaphragm which is present below the lungs, they will contract, they will become flattened, and they will move down so that it will allow the lungs to expand easily. It can cover the area of the thoracic cavity at a larger scale, so that the pressure inside the lungs will drop and oxygen will get a chance to enter inside the lungs from high concentration to lower concentration. Now, likewise, in breathing, when we breathe out, we are removing the carbon dioxide from the body. At that condition, the process reverse. Basically, here we have to push out the carbon dioxide from our body. So in order to push out the carbon dioxide from the body from high concentration to lower concentration, the lungs are going to relax. They will relax. They will push upward. They will give a pushing force from the bottom of the lungs, so that the lungs will get a pressure from the bottom to remove the carbon dioxide outside of the body. Similarly, the ring of muscles which are attached with the ribs, they will do the reverse mechanism. The external intercostal muscle will relax and internal intercostal muscle will contract this time, as a result of which the rib cage will move downward. In the breathing, it moves upward, and in the breathe out, it will move downward. As a result, the volume inside the lungs will get reduced, and it will create a high pressure of the air. This high pressure of the air will force the carbon dioxide to move outside of the body from higher concentration to lower concentration. So my dear students, I hope you have understood the concept which we discussed today about the gaseous exchange and how this gaseous exchange take place in the human body. This is Miss Aisha from Biotic Academy. Take care.